Will there be a new mindset for Joel Embiid in this season for the 76ers? We're going to talk about it here on the PHLY Sixers show, presented by our good friends from Rothman Orthopedics. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY. And Ford, how many years, Kyle?
48 straight.
Visit your local Ford store. We are coming to you live from the Xfinity Lounge. Hang out with us, won't you? Derek, Kyle, Devon, Bree, the president of basketball operations here. All of you in the chat. What up, Marcus? Early on, jumping in there saying, here early, we see you and we thank you. And before we get started, talking about Joel Embiid and the adjustments that may need to be made on both sides, from the player to the coaching staff as well, let's talk about the Big Brothers, Big Sisters month of giving. Once again, back this week, focusing on the donations as we have all week, trying to reach that goal, 50,000 from ALLCITY and PHLY all together. We still like you to sign up to become a big, but we are talking about trying to raise that money because it is huge. Again, raising that money brings, once again, just the awareness that needs to be thrown at everyone about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, how you can become a big, helping out. Every donation goes a very long way. So if you are able to do so, the significance of the thought leader here and the mentorship and continues to evolve, and its impact and the growth and the significance with the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, the donations do go a long way. So the easy way to do it, of course, if you're watching here on YouTube, you can just scroll down, and when you do, you'll see the donation button. Hit that button and donate whatever you can. If you need to go on the website, that is bbbs.org. Every donation counts. Once again, it all means a great deal to us, and we really appreciate your help by helping us as we partner up with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. All right, we have a lot to get to as we continue to pre-training camp preview the Philadelphia 76ers.
Preview of the preview.
We continue to preview before we get to media day and training camp in the preseason, which again starts 2 weeks from today, Kyle. 2 weeks from today. Well, it was actually Tuesday. So 2 weeks from Tuesday on October 2nd. The second game will be on Thursday. That will be game number 2 against the Knicks in Abu Dhabi. But we got to talk about Joel Embiid. We'll get to news and notes a little bit later. And we got an update as the Sixers have given us another glimpse of the celebration for the 25th year anniversary of the 2000-2001 team that went to the NBA Finals. But here, Joel Embiid. Is it more on him or is it more on the team to make adjustments for him coming back after missing a ton of time last season, only playing in 19 games a year ago, having the fantastic start the year before, and then the knee injury that took place, and we know about the Olympics and all. But we've talked so much, Kyle, about how – and I watched this the first 3 months when I wasn't able to sit here with you guys. And when I got back, we all agreed that it was just more about, hey, man, you don't need to score 33. It's fun. You can drop 35 easily, but maybe take it down to 27, rebound a little bit more, defend the paint, protect the rim, and all of that. He's so good that he came right back into it. They were winning games, and he was phenomenal. We thought he was on his way to a second consecutive MVP before he sustained that knee injury once again. Then last season, while we saw glimpses of it, we never really got an opportunity to see it. And
he just also never really got started. Right? He only played 19 games, and at least two of them, he didn't finish.
Right, exactly. So the knee injury is a big part of where we are. He is now, 30 at this stage of his career?
31.
And 31. And while we've seen some photos of him with his body looking a little bit different from a season ago, he said media day last year that he lost 25 pounds going into the season. Ultimately, it did not matter. Now we see this new photos from the Sixers posting on their Twitter account of what he looks like, and it seems like he has slimmed down yet again as Bree posts these photos from a year ago. And from what we see here, at least this week, of those photos being dropped, Kyle, who is it more on for an adjustment to be made with this knee injury that he has to just simply play through if he's going to be out there? And stylistically, play-wise, as we've talked about adjusting the game where he doesn't have to drop 35, 33 a night, who is it more on, him or the team to make
It's on both of them, to be sure, because I think one of the things that really jumped out last season that we talked about a lot was that their plan really didn't change how they were going to play, whether he was in or out of the lineup, right? When he came out of games, they're mostly playing the same way. When he's not available, they're mostly playing the same way. The offensive structure didn't change play to play, game to game, week to week, despite the fact that a lot of that offense is centered around a guy who, again, only got through about 16 or 17 full games last season, right? So the team very clearly needs to, moving forward, plan for different realities, plan for different versions of the team in a way that was not reflected by how they set up last year, right? But we've heard a lot from Joel this summer from one article, but we heard more from Joel this summer than we've heard from him most other off seasons, right? Getting a look into his past, where he's at physically, where he's at mentally, just kind of the journey that he's been on as a professional. And I do think a lot of it rests with him, right? Because what we see, I think it's most stark in the NBA because you're one of 5 guys for your team on the floor, which is relatively small relative to, even if you're the quarterback, right, of a football team. As you age and your game adjusts, you're still dependent in a lot of ways on the linemen, your weapons, your running back, like all the different moving parts. Hockey, it's 5 aside, but those guys are in and out so fast. Basketball is still the sport where one guy controls the game by himself for long stretches of games and long stretches of seasons. And so Joel, if he's going to adapt, if he is going to come back, and I think we all probably expect, he is not just, even if he's slimmed down, even if he's in good shape, he's not going to be the athletic Joel he was 5 years ago. Like, nobody gets more athletic as they get deeper into their 30s, right? They might get wiser about how they go about the game. They might be better at basketball or football or whatever it might be through all the accrued experience and savvy. But he is going to have to change in some way, shape, or form, whether that's how much attention he puts on offense versus defense, how hard he plays during different stretches of games, how much attention is paid to rebounding and all that. And then also consider, how has the roster changed? How the team needs changed outside of him, right? Because now this isn't a team that has a bunch of veteran guys, or at least certainly they have vets, but the bulk of the guys getting minutes are going to be 24, 22, 20, 21, like in that age band. And he's going to have to bring them along more than expect, like, okay, I have a bunch of 28 to 35-year-olds. These guys have been through it. They've been through multiple playoff runs. They have all this experience. I think that's where I would probably start. And it was why I was very encouraged by seeing Joel in the gym before camp, before media day, during a period where we still haven't seen him yet, next to a VJ Edgecombe, doing some, just whether it's just a side conversation, it's some light mentorship, whatever it is. I think what we've seen and what I think we've heard is that he's going to embrace this, right? He doesn't have a choice, really, but I think he has slowly over time figured out that it isn't just as simple as Joel walks into the gym on game day, drops 30, and that's the extent of his responsibilities. So I think that's one of the most important things that has to change. Not like a huge leap, but it has to continue to evolve. Joel as a leader, Joel as an off-court presence, Joel going to team dinners, texting guys like, hey, he watches games back at home. He watches games all over the league. And if something jumps up like, hey, VJ, I think this guy or this play or this is something I think you can do or that you and I can do together, I think that's going to be a really important part of this year and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, when you are less impactful, and certainly last year, especially when he came back in January, he was less impactful. Like, the little things matter more. So certainly you would like to see him a little more vocal. I do agree he's been doing a much better job, at least from the outside. And by from the outside, we mean those couple of pictures and that 5-second clip. But he looks like he is in there working earlier, and maybe his knee is allowing him to do that. Whereas last year at this time, we still don't really know exactly what he was doing in the post Olympics period. But he looks like the shape, being in good shape, losing more weight, that's a good sign. In terms of like play style, it would be interesting to see, like, I guess just minute wise, like he dropped like 4 minutes per game last year from what he was playing earlier. Drop another 2 or 3. Like if that number starts with a 2 in the 20s, I think that could certainly help him. It is a tough league for big men, especially defensively. Keeping him fresh, not having him be tired, not only allows him to be a little more effective in the minutes that he's on the floor, but I think could also limit the wear and tear. Like a lot of times you make bad decisions when you are physically fatigued.
Yeah.
And I would just love to see him take, some of those drives that seems like every injury happens on a pump fake drive to the basket. If I'm looking at play style, in the playoffs off the rim.
Yeah.
If I could just see him, look, it's great. Like part of the reason he's been so unique is he's like a 7-foot KD, a 7-foot, 290-pound KD. That's just not a combination of skills and size that the league has really ever seen before. Also, part of the reason he has so much pressure on his lower body is he's moving around like KD at 290 pounds. It's just a lot of pressure to put on his knees. I would love to see just a little more reined in on some of those attempts. Maybe that helps get him to the finish line. And what does that mean? Like maybe 50 games, 27 minutes per game, and less crazy dunk attempts? I don't know.
Jack Reacher says put him on a 3 pump fake max per possession in the game. But to your point, just to play off of what you just said about the drives, and that's where a lot of injuries occur. You think about it because we see it in real time as the game is playing out. And we're like, see, this is exactly what we're talking about. We love watching him. We know how effective he is. We know how dominant he is, even if he's not playing with his back to the basket. The domination and the threat and the fear that he puts in the defense from that free throw level extended work that he does, and then put the ball on the floor because they bite on a ball fake. But when he puts that ball on the floor and then they read it properly, he doesn't have an escape route there. It's not often that the passes that we talk about aren't often off of the bounce. It's because the double team is there. Yeah. He read it properly. He gets it out of his hands. In those cases, he does stuff like that, and he gets himself in a little bit of trouble, and then that's where the injuries occur. The New York one is the last one that we really think about off the backboard where it was unnecessary. And we said it at the time.
Incredible play. But, man, when he went down, it was like, oh, it's over. Yeah. It's over.
It was I'm pretty sure I was sitting with Derek at the time. Yeah. And it went from, oh, to, oh.
It was bad. Me, Bree, and Rich were back here, and I said it in the moment. Don't do it, because you can kind of see it going in his head. And
the wheels are turning.
Yeah, and it was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Just pass it. And then he did it, and that's what happened.
And I'll just never forget the look on his face after he went down. Like, he looked like a guy who was like, oh, no, my career might be over. And we'll never know whether or not that plays a role in where he is now. But he looked terrified at that moment.
Yeah.
So
I don't think the Bell's palsy he was dealing with helped there.
No, probably not.
He
probably
couldn't
not.
really express himself as usual. But, that was our view at the time was this guy looks like he's afraid for his career.
Yeah. So from that, Derek, that you talk about, to Kyle going back to holding himself accountable with the things that he does with his teammates and all, I just go right back to the first meeting that they had to have, that team meeting that started all the chaos and everything of it all, that was even addressed in that ESPN piece this summer of Tyrese Maxey saying he has to be more prompt. He has to be more on time and more involved with these things. And so when we ask the question of, is Joel Embiid ready to adapt his game? He is the face. He is the leader, even though he's getting older as the leader, and he always prompts up Tyrese Maxey. It is still his franchise, and it is still his team. So while he doesn't have to be that vocal, yell leader like we've seen some in the past, he doesn't have to be Jimmy Butler, but they are watching. And when they are watching, it still falls at his feet of how you go about things and how the others are watching. While they may not do what you do, oh, Joel can get away with it, so can I, but they are human beings and they see how these things work, where there were stars before too, where it was their teams in different places, like VJ Edgecombe in college or like VJ Edgecombe in high school. And some of these other players that we've all know have been the top player on their teams. They may not follow in that footstep, but they're also side-eyeing you a little bit of, hey, what's going on with our leader? And we've talked about it plenty of times where you guys are just simply waiting for a pregame shoot around of, is he coming out here or not? And, all that type of stuff, that those things go a long way too. So it's not just will he adapt his game on the floor and it's the 33 or 35 points per game down to 27, 25, 23, rebounding, defending, making that a big priority. It's also those things, too, that go a long way within a locker room, especially when you're coming off a 24-win season where a lot of it was on you because you couldn't play, because of the knee injury, because of the things that went around it. No fault of his own of, hey, let me go hurt my knee because I don't want to play this season. But you can't win if he's not out there. Mm-hmm. And a big part of Paul George signing on with this basketball team was Joel Embiid being here for an extended period of time throughout his contract. And we didn't get a chance to see that, but for about 12 games last year. And that's just unacceptable. Injuries, those things take place. We do know that. Now, when they come back and we see that he looks so good right now, at least in these photos in that 5-second clip, and you have so many people in the chat saying, I'm back in, or on Twitter, I'm back in, and all of that.
They see the logo on the floor,
which
we'll get to. They're like, they better be damn good this year.
That's it. And but for him to adjust his game, I do look at the point total on the floor and how he gets his points. He's always going to get to the free throw line because he's so skilled. It may not be double digits anymore like he used to, or a high number. It may be 8 or 9 per game, somewhere along there. But that is still important because they have to account for him, Derek, being on the floor. And that opens up things for everyone else. And with this young talent that he does have in the backcourt and some of these other young players that Kyle talked about, maybe his game does need to be adjusted a little bit because of, while we're not all the way shifting to the young guys and the guards, but we are shifting a little bit where they can also take a lot off your plate for you to play 50 games and possibly even 60 games.
Yeah, and I think what's nice about Joel is with so many of the young guards, and I'm going to include Tyrese in this, even though he's not like VJ young. He's still a youngish guard. Well, I guess when you have max contract. Either way, he's going to be around here for a while. Nice thing about Joel with these young guards is his, it's one thing like if you're going to say, all right, you're going to take less of a role. There's some stars who fundamentally aren't great playing a 2-man game when they're playing a less of a role. Like they might spot up in the corner, but they're not actively involved in the play. With Joel, Jared and Tyrese can run 2-man games with Joel. He can be the screener. He can be the decoy. He can be, drag a double team, let Tyrese run around and try to free himself and get open. And it's not going to put a ton of pressure on Joel. It's not going to, it's not something that you can't try to replicate with, obviously you're not going to replicate Joel Embiid's, pocket pass 2-man game with Andre Drummond, but you can at the very least have somebody else screen for him and play that role. And I think he can function as a, he's going to be the number one option when he's on the floor. We can talk about anything else. He's going to end up having the highest usage rate, the most points, and be the focus of the defense. But I do think him going from 37% usage rate or whatever incredible number it was a couple years ago back to 33, maybe now to high 20s, that can happen and probably happen pretty easily because you do have so many young kids who can play off of him and use that attention he receives to their advantage.
I think maybe the number one thing I want to see from him in terms of a shift from last year is the speed at which he's moving. And I don't mean running speed. I mean, if the whole concept of this offense is supposed to be 0.5, either you shoot, you pass, put it on the floor, you're making a decision one way or another. He's the worst offender at not doing that, right? And when he's at his best, he can justify doing the jab step, 1 pump fake, 2 pump fakes. But I think last year what you saw is that it was more a product of no confidence in his knee and a lack of confidence in his body overall. And so we saw guys who he used to just put through the stanchion and put in foul trouble, block his jump shots and crowd him. And if you go through a lot of his field goal percentages from different areas, the ones that really jump out were he shot 42% from 10 to 16 feet. And that's coming off of a run over a couple years where he's at 47%, 51%, shot close to 50% on those shots over a 2-year period. Then it's from 16 feet to the 3-point line where he basically put up unprecedented numbers at the volume that he's shooting at, right? That's a shot that's been largely abandoned by the league because most people can't justify shooting it. He was shooting for a couple years, again, like 49, 50, 51%. Last year, he's down at 40%, which is a massive drop off. It greatly hurt his efficiency. And it's where I think you saw a lot of the people think of the physical breakdown of the physical wear and tear in terms of, oh, he can't move this guy. But I think just as importantly, he didn't have the speed and the assertiveness that he was going to get by guys. And so they felt they could straddle that line between, all right, I'm going to play just enough off of him to make sure he doesn't go by me, but I still feel like I'm close enough to contest and I'm close enough to, get an elbow on his hip or whatever it might be. And a lot of that comes down to, okay, maybe Joel's physicality is not something he can get back all the way, right? In fact, I would say that's almost certain that he won't get all that back. So how do you make that up? You got to read the game quicker. You have to move the ball quicker. It cannot be, if there's an open shot opportunity, the same way we would have said to 12, Tobias Harris, you have a pretty open three. I want you to take it. When Joel Embiid gets these open jumper opportunities or there is a driving lane that he can hit, it has to happen immediately. It cannot be I'm going to survey the floor, I'm going to wait it out. And I know that's a big ask, right? Because to the point about him being 7 foot 290 Kevin Durant, it's a little harder to be that at that type of weight and have to navigate through traffic with everybody else's limbs in the middle of everything and worried about your own feet, worried about your own knees. Mm-hmm. But the quicker he makes decisions, the harder it becomes for the defense, no matter how fast that he's moving. The easier the shot opportunities become for Maxey, for McCain, for these guys, because if he commits hard, the defense has to commit hard. They have to rotate. You do not want to leave him one-on-one going to the basket against most of the league, even in this state that he's in, right? So his processing speed of the game, his ability to make those quick decisions is tied to his body. And it is probably, for me, the most important reason that I hope that the knee is feeling better. I hope that he has confidence in it because I think that everything else just flows out of that mental state he was in. Obviously, he wasn't physically right, but I thought last year it was more noticeable the lack of confidence he had.
All right, that's the one part. There's a second part to this conversation with Joel Embiid. Where does the coaching staff come into play with this whole thing? We'll talk about it when we get back. How much, or is Joel Embiid ready to change his game for the Sixers to be successful as he ages, but maybe ages gracefully, and his game still has a big impact on the season? We'll talk about it when we get back right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast, presented by our good friends from Rothman and Ford.
Well, guys, just like Kyle doesn't want Joel Embiid lagging on the basketball court, you want to make sure that your stream isn't lagging either. Because, see, if you are a basketball fan, you have to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination, and I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place. And the way that I watch, it's next level. Got all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K, so clear that it feels like I'm in the arena. Sometimes I've got 4 games going on at once because there's a lot going on and you want to make sure you're up to speed. On top of that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
And guys, I got to tell you once again about the Ford Explorer. That's America's all-time best-selling SUV that has a legacy of family trust and performance. I know that family trust. I grew up with a Ford Explorer in my family, have a lot of great memories. Here's the nice thing though, since the 90s, they've added a whole lot of bells and whistles and new tech and better engines and everything else. 3 different powertrain options, including a hybrid for better fuel economy. That model gets you up to 500 miles of driving range, but maybe you just want the power, right? There's an available 3-liter EcoBoost V6 that can kick it up to 400 horsepower in the ST trim for anybody who wants it like that. It's packed with all sorts of features like Ford Copilot 360. That's a suite of advanced driver assist features. Some of you probably need the help driving out there. No accidents. Stay safe. Ford has your back. You get up to 87.8 cubic feet of cargo space with the rear seats folded down. So lots of space for people, lots of space for stuff, lots of space for your life. For more information, visit your local Ford store.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Ford, of course, there. And we come to you from the Xfinity Lounge. First, before we get back to Joel Embiid and the coaching staff, can we tell you about the merch sale that we have going on? Up to 85% off right now on sale items and 20% off the ALLCITY warehouse sale overall. You can go to store.allcitynetwork.com and allphly.com and just hit the drop-down button there on the merch. So we got that for you. So go take advantage of all the cool apparel and merchandise that we do have for you, whether it's a hoodie, t-shirt, hat, some of those accessories that we do have there. Please go take a look at it all. Take advantage of the sale. Everybody likes a sale. Come on and go get yourself some new PHLY gear. All right, Joel Embiid, his new teammates, and the coaching staff will be obviously on the floor. The floor, we've seen City Edition floors. We've seen all kinds of different things. We saw the Spectrum floor. Folks, the Sixers have given us another tease as they celebrate the 25th anniversary of the 2000-2001 season. And the team, look at that basketball court.
It's what you've all been waiting for, or most of you have been waiting for.
So
anyway.
it's a tease, but we all know, as Kyle's been saying for quite some time, we know. Look at that floor, everybody. What do you think with the old logo there in the middle of this at center court?
Nothing says 2001 like a crypto sponsor on the baseline.
Not much they could do about that one.
I mean, yes, they could.
Yes, I mean,
they could simply have our wonderful partners at Xfinity of a nice clean logo on the floor.
Very true.
Could just throw another Xfinity logo.
Very true.
But, neither here nor there.
Yes, but that is a very, very good looking court there, and I like it. I mean, I know we saw some photos about 2 weeks ago. Somebody had some leaked photos that were out there.
Yeah, who said the unmarked vans have showed up at my house for posting these.
Well, the Sixers have now shared. Derek, your thoughts?
No,
Aaron says just.
So Aaron is in the camp that I have been in a long time. That I believe he doesn't like but I'm happy for the people.
Yes.
I don't really care about these specific jerseys. They're not my favorites, but they are the fan base's favorite. Certainly like a whole generation's. This is what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for all the people who are finally getting it. And I also think it's nice that they're getting it at a time where you have several exciting young players, including the number 3 overall draft pick. You can buy their jerseys and feel like you're going to be able to hold on to that for a while.
So what do you think, Derek?
Yeah, no, and look,
Can we see the full court, Bree? Yeah.
I think, first of all, I like the different shades of like brown. Like I like the inside the arc being differentiated from the rest of the floor.
Yeah.
I think if I had one minor nitpick, if you remember back the 01 courts, they had some blue.
I think the blue was actually in the lane.
Yeah,
right?
It was in the lane. And it was also right around the center court logo.
They had 2 shooting basketball stars, I think, going across as well. And people were upset about that.
I wouldn't mind a tiny bit of blue thrown in there as well. But other than that, I think it's a home run for what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And look, I agree.
They do have the blue in the center court logo and on the right there on the side of the floor.
I agree with Kyle. Like I think the overall design can be a little bit overrated, but by the same token, like I'm a huge nostalgia guy. So like if you're going to give me 14 games where I can flash back to that era and relive some of that, I would say I'm probably more on board with this than I thought I would be, and it's probably 95% nostalgia.
Yeah, I like it.
I see some clapping.
You like the court?
I think
the court.
Broadly everyone is happy with this. I'm a red, white, and blue. That's the 76ers color scheme.
By the way, you see we've had the shorts on our table for the last couple of weeks because obviously we knew this was on the way. So the blue, not the black, but the blue.
Yeah. I'm happy that they're finally doing it.
Yeah. So I was always a fan of this one. I did not, to your point, I did not like the cutoff of the jersey, the cutoff sleeves, like it was a cutoff T-shirt that Michael Jordan kind of made famous. And then some schools and NBA teams, colleges, they started wearing that as their jersey. But if we remember, when Larry Hughes and I think it was Larry Hughes, some of those, the early part of that uniform, before they went to the cutoffs, they were actually jerseys. Right. They were real, normal tank top looking jerseys. And then they went the other way. That said, I liked the design then. Iverson obviously made them cooler. And
I just don't like, I didn't like the satin, and I hope that they're not going with that type of the shiny.
I'll do some homework. But
I don't think
shiny,
they will be.
It was that shiny. Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
It was that
I don't like
material.
the shiny. I
think the shiny
the shiny. I think I like the shiny more when people sported them on a daily basis, when fans wore them. And it was like, oh, that looks pretty cool.
But I think if you're going to have a retro jersey throwing back to that jersey, it almost has to be shiny. Like, that was a pretty key part of that jersey.
Difference is Nike is designing them.
Okay.
Don't know from then. Look, so there goes the AI with
anything looks cool on Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
So,
he's
a bad example.
That was a picture of me wearing it. You would not feel the same way.
I always throw up the Iverson and Mac Geiger, where it's Mac Geiger with the barbed wire tattoo on his arm.
Yeah.
Next to Iverson, the coolest MFer on the planet. And then there's Mac Geiger. Yeah. All due respect.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So that is that's the new court, everybody. Hope you like it. Let us know what you think in the chat. And you'll be seeing that 14 times this season, as the Sixers will have 14 games dedicated to that uniform, the jersey, the throwback of it all. Also, as we talk about everybody being bought back in, Chris Mannix, national NBA guy. Chris Mannix was like, you know what? As we look at some of the starting lineup here, and Bree had a graphic where she put together the older starting lineup from last year on opening night in 24 to what we better get this one. Chris Mannix says all of them. How many games?
All the games.
Will the team win if healthy? Chris Mannix says all of them, and in parentheses, man, I'm back in.
But NBC's projected lineup, look who it is.
Look at that.
It's Jared McCain. Now,
they're not including Quentin yet.
They can't include a guy who's not signed in the roster. So I understand the Quentin Grimes component is a little bit of a variable there.
Yeah. So we'll be seeing those guys in the older uniform. And as we talk about people being bought back in, even some of the national people are saying, man, they didn't pull me back in once again. Bree, can we also see last year's starting lineup on opening night? Bree put together this great graphic. KJ Martin, Eric Gordon, Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, and Andre Drummond, your opening night lineup against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Guys, I just want to give you so much credit for surviving that year, because when you throw that up as your opening day lineup, that was a struggle.
I'll just pretend that high five was for both of us. There we go.
I can't.
Devon, pass it. I'm messing with you.
Pass it on. There you go. That was rough, man. That was
we should have known. That was the sign right there.
We should have known. We should have known. So that's what it's not going to look like on October 22nd. It better not look like that on October 22nd.
What, you're not lining up for your Eric Gordon 2001 Sixers jersey? How many of those do you think will sell?
I mean, he's
outside
got
his family.
Well, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting one. No.
Okay. Bree's got. Who sells
Gordon
more?
jersey.
Just real fast, and then we're gonna take a break. Come back, talk more about this. Who sells more with the new black jerseys?
Who do you mean? Between who?
Like the most of any player?
Yeah.
I think Maxey will be number one.
We exclude Iverson because Iverson. We'll presume that they resell those, and maybe even on the website and in the arena. Maxey
or Edgecombe.
Well,
although the 77 is a real, that's a tough sell.
That could be a collector, and
you got to really be in on VJ.
Yeah.
Because the number is, no one's like, oh, he's got my number, so I'm going to go buy the jersey.
It's Shady McCoy 29, man.
I still think Joel will sell a lot of jerseys, just because I think there are a lot of people who realize, look, you might be getting towards the end of his career. They still, I think, they're going to look back on him in a relatively positive light. And this is a pretty unique, pretty monumental jersey. And you just won't have very many. Even people who already have a Joel jersey might be like, I want to make sure I get the 2001 Joel jersey.
I agree. But I think Maxey is probably my number one.
People have been waiting for this one for so long. They are going to sell. It's just a matter
McCain's in the mix too, by the way, because he's
very popular. But
is popular and not just in like he's the TikTok guy, right? So there are lots of people who know him from that are just like, these are cool jerseys. I'll get one of these.
if VJ has a good start,
Oh yeah,
and by game 3 of the 2001 court and wearing the jerseys and all, he might be up there.
Yeah.
Despite wearing 77, which he said he's not changing if they win a championship. So there you go. All right. Great job, VJ. All right. When we come back, we'll talk about the coaching impact on this with Joel Embiid and how things may look differently. Should they look differently on the floor? We'll talk about it all when we get back right here, hanging out with you on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
All right, guys, listen up. September's here. Football's back, school's in, and it's a perfect time to get your finances back in shape, too. Been checking in on my credit score lately, and let me tell you, if you're a TrueMark member, or if you're a member at TrueMark Financial Credit Union, you've already got a serious edge. They've got this free tool called Savvy Money right inside their online banking mobile app. Use it myself. It's like having your own financial coach in your pocket. You can check your credit score anytime without taking a hit, get tips on how to improve it, and even get alerts if anything changes. That's what I call playing smart defense with your money. So if you're already on Team TrueMark, fire up that app and get out Savvy Money today. And if you're not a member yet, what are you waiting for? Step up your financial game. Swing by one of their 24 branches or visit TrueMark.com/PHLY to open an account. TrueMark Financial Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
All right, gang, and also those fall leagues are starting back up, playing some basketball, and you might tweak that ankle, bang that shoulder, thinking you're Tyrese Maxey out there on the floor, and you get a little injury. You need to go check out our good people at Rothman Orthopedics if that does, in fact, happen. If it does, Rothman Orthopedics, well, they proudly serves dozens of communities across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida with 30-plus convenient offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers. Year over year, Rothman consistently performs among the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country at over 60,000. I'm a walking Rothman billboard here. Knee, ankle repaired there. If you need to be like me, I hope you're not as serious. Go ahead. Get down there, take that first step, head to rothmanortho.com/PHLY and schedule your appointment today. Rothman Orthopedics, now your fall, your mobility, their mission. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast here. Derek, let's talk about where the coaching staff comes into play here with Joel Embiid and adjusting his game. How much do they play a part in it? Ultimately falls on him because we know what type of player he is. It's been his team for so long. But where does the coaching staff fall in this conversation?
Yeah, probably pretty minimally. Just because, like you mentioned, Joel Embiid has opinions on the way he plays, how frequently he plays, when he plays, all of that stuff.
How he plays.
Yeah.
When he plays.
Yeah, look, I think they are certainly going to have I say that, but last year it didn't seem like they had a huge plan. I would hope that they have a significant plan on how they're going to play when he's on the bench. And because of that, maybe you adjust the way that you play when he's on the floor, just so that is less of an abrupt thing. You know, I certainly think they have a lot of design and theories on how they're going to get Jared McCain to play off of him. That's something we didn't really get to see a whole lot last year. I think they probably have thoughts of how they can try to keep him. Because I think one thing, we focus a lot on how he plays offensively, but I think in terms of wear and tear, defense comes into that a lot. And certainly the Joel we saw earlier on in his career, where he would jump out on the perimeter, where he would chase Jason Tatum, where he would, try to lock up Steph Curry on the perimeter and take on that challenge. Like, I think you probably see him in much more of a drop, 99% of the time this year and at this point of his career. So I think that's going to end up influencing. They'll have some influence on that. But I think we all know, like, Joel Embiid is going to play when Joel Embiid feels like he's okay to play. And do I really trust that I could be like, hey, Joe, you're only playing 26 minutes today because we want to conserve you? I'd love to be a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Good luck with that one. It's one thing to say, hey, the data says XYZ about back-to-backs or third game in 4 nights or whatever it might be. Once you get into, hey, you're available to play tonight, but we're going back closer to like rookie year Joel or second year Joel, where they're hard capping his minutes. And that's where I think you run into somebody's going to win, and it's not Nick Nurse, right? And if he does win, I don't think that the consequences of that will be good. And frankly, like, I think that's a good thing in a weird way, because it's just, that's Joel being competitive. That's Joel, like any player, wanting to be on the floor and saying, like, I think our best team is with me out there and me giving everything I have. So I don't fault him for that. In terms of the influence that the coaching staff will actually have on this, I tend to agree with Derek. Like, I don't really see it making a major impact, because frankly, I don't know that the coaching staff wants to change all that much. I don't think we've heard anything from Daryl Morey when we talked to him in the summer, from, you know, idle conversation with Nick Nurse at, like, in Vegas or at some media avails this summer. It's not like they've come in and said, oh boy, we want to turn Joel into Brooke Lopez, right? Or turn Joel into Miles Turner, where he's like guys who are just going to put up 7 threes and be a stretch big and do most of their work as defenders and rebounders. Joel has a special skill set. You want to tap into that special skill set. It's just a matter of, how do you balance that skill set with the need to get other guys involved, the need to develop the young players, bring them along as creators and scorers and playmakers in their own right? And also, how do you lessen the wear and tear on Joel when he's on the floor, right? Because, again, going back to the speed of decision-making, the speed of play, the big thing that happens when Joel does that for the team is they get lulled into this, well, I don't have to do anything, right? Like, it becomes this static, no motion, no cutting, just like it's Joel time, right? That's where you don't want to be as a team. The best offense they've run for 3-4 years are the pick and rolls, where it's like you play the 2-man game. Joel can get it at the nail. Maybe Joel gets it even closer to the basket. If he's not getting the ball, it's Maxey to the rim. It's James Harden to the rim. If those options are closed off, there's got to be a shooter available somewhere. You swing it out. Maybe that guy shoots. Maybe it swings around, right? It's not just like, hey, let's ISO Joe at the nail and hope that he figures it out. It has to be, that might be the initial read. You get him the ball there, then he's got to read it quickly. His teammates got to react quickly, right? And so it is one of the reasons I'm very happy that they have a VJ type guy on the team, right? Because he does have strong off-ball instincts. He is someone that will explode through space on a cut. Kelly Oubre is someone that has pretty good chemistry with Joel in terms of reading where he's at, where his man is, and how to time those cuts into the dunker spot, cutting toward the basket. And obviously, between McCain and Maxey, their ability to find space and find a shooting opportunity is up there with most guys in the league, right? So the key is just going to be not being married to, like, it's Joel's possession and everything just happens through him and the ball stops and that's it, right? You can't get lulled into, well, he's so great singularly and has all this talent and shot making skill and foul drawing ability. And so if we just keep dumping him the ball, good things will happen. You can live that way for periods of time, but then it just makes you such an easier offense to scheme against. It puts way more pressure on Joel to play out of doubles and even triple teams. And it's just physically taxing, right? When teams know you're just going to have the ball for 10 to 15 seconds of a possession, they're going to hit you with waves of defenders. They're going to get all up, like you're going to get hit in the back, hit in the ribs, hit anywhere, right? Some of it legal, some of it not. And that's the stuff you want to cut down on to keep him fresh, not just within the game, but over the 82 games in the playoffs.
My thing is his willingness to take to the coaching if he is limited, at least to start the season. Maybe he'll start to gradually get to a point where he's back to being the old Joel Embiid, but the willingness of allowing the other stuff to happen within the flow of the offense too, because the scheme cannot be, as Kyle and Derek have said, 2-3 plays, and we all know what they are. It cannot be that. And to the joke of the 3 pump fake minimum per possession, that stuff does take time. Oftentimes you get a pretty good outcome of it because Joel Embiid, as Kyle laid out the numbers, because he's so good, the outcome is pretty good. That said, there's a lot of talent there. And with that coaching, we're always talking about ball movement, that extra pass, the quick thinking, and putting the ball on the floor, but not getting yourself caught where an injury takes place. Trusting your teammates, which we have seen he has done with James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, and so many others, JJ Redick, Jimmy Butler. There's some times where you want him to make some passes to some other guys that are out there on the floor, but to see him uplift and empower those players is going to be really important because they are going to be key throughout the entire season. They are going to be key if they get to the postseason, which we all hope they do get back to that.
God, I can't go through another 24, 25 win season.
No, not at all. So with that, I just think it's the willingness of some different things that may not, while he's the focal point, he can be a decoy. And you can see some of those things that are happening around him that are leading to success. He was a decoy of it, but the ball didn't necessarily have to be sticking for 10 seconds in this spot.
Yeah.
Also, like we talked about last year, because of coming off of the Olympics, some of the things that we saw that we didn't necessarily like, even though he had some really good games, I don't mind a back to the basket game a little bit. Again, when we were at training camp in the Bahamas and he was working on that because he couldn't really practice, but he was working on that jump hook in the middle of the paint, 6 feet away from the basket. We've seen him in games. He is not, that's one thing he has not gotten down. And if he can get that down at a consistent rate, 6, 7 feet away from the basket with that jump hook, because he has such good touch, I also think that helps out a lot. Mm-hmm. And it takes some of that pressure off of his knee, where while he is engaging in that contact and trying to create that space with whomever is defending him there, guess what, man? He's still 7'2", and a lot of those guys, even with his back to the basket, cannot stop him. It's up to him. And if he can get that going, I think if he drops that at a pretty good clip, then he can still average at a decent number, get to the free throw line. Those double teams are still going to be there, and he can make those quick decisions with the passed out or a guy cutting because he gets a quick double. Yeah. Since he's so close to the basket, here comes Kelly Oubre, bang, drop off, layup, finish at the rim, and those things will be there. So I think if he can do those, if he can really start to hit that at a nice number percentage-wise, that could go a long way, especially as he just grows into a new part of his game. He is not, we don't think, at least based on what we saw last season, he may not be that guy again. There are going to have to be some adjustments. Those are ways of just thinking smarter and easier and getting points on the board for your team.
And by the way, like when I say I don't want to see the 15 seconds straight of Joel, and we talk about needing to move the ball, needing to do this, needing to do that, none of us are coming at this being like Joel is selfish and it's all about, like, because there is an undercurrent of that, not just locally, but like in the basketball world. And I don't believe that at all, right? If you listen to how Joel talks about not just role players, but the stars he plays with, like Tyrese Maxey has told you in so many ways over the years, like Joel was the first person who believed in him and empowered him and said, and Maxey is coming into a team where Joel is the guy. Joel is an all-NBA, MVP type player. And he's telling a rookie, a second-year guard, a third-year guard, like, I need you to be aggressive. I need you to hunt shots. And part of that is because when Jimmy Butler came here, Jimmy was obviously, he's the big braggadocious personality, force of nature on that front in many ways. There is video you can go back and watch from playoff games of Jimmy demanding that Joel Embiid shoot, right? And like there's some weirdness that goes into all that. But Joel wants his guys, when Joel gets doubled and he creates an opportunity, he wants those guys to shoot. He wants people to be involved. I think he certainly loves the, like, I'm the alpha, I'm the guy who takes the last shot, I get the most important touches and I dominate possession and all that. But I don't think he views it as like it's my way or the highway, or everything has to be through me at all times and I'm just dragging all these bozos to the finish line. I think in his ideal world, it would be, a shared responsibility. He just is so convinced that he is the best option that sometimes he's going to take those star level shots, and that's fine. So all I want from him, I don't need him to score less. I don't need him to do anything less. I just want to see him move quicker and more decisively. I think is the key to all great offense, especially in the playoffs. and there's no better time to start than at the start of the regular season.
Yeah, and there is a difference between, being slow in your decision making and being, and doing that with a purpose and then doing that with indecision. And I think you brought up a good point earlier. Like when Joel was averaging 33, 34, 35 points per game, at times he was waiting for that double team so he knew how to attack. So he knew what rotation to punish. Last year, it seemed like he was slow because he was indecisive and didn't know what he could trust and what he could rely on and what he could do and what he could count on. And so much of that is, obviously he didn't play regularly, never felt right, mentally never felt like he was confident. And it's hard to say, well, Joe, just be confident in your knee. Well, it's not my knee. It's a lot easier for me to say. But I do hope whatever he's done and whatever plan they have for him this year leads to more confidence, because that will lead to inherently a better version of Joe.
Guys, while we have you here, I want to thank you all for being part of this wonderful community we have here at PHLY. We're obviously always looking to improve not just ourselves, but our shows. And we want to better understand how you listen and what you value the most. So we've launched a quick survey. Your feedback helps us shape the content that you love and make it even better. It only takes a few minutes. It'll make a big impact. Take a moment, go to allphly.com/survey. Let your voice be heard. Here's the best part. Respondents have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. It's a survey. It only takes a few minutes. Nothing crazy. It helps us out. It helps you out. We appreciate you for doing it. Again, that's allphly.com/survey. Do that after the show's over. It'll help us out a great deal.
I want to see back to the basket, Joel. Not Shaq-like anything. It's more of that jump hook right there in the middle of the paint.
It's also a mentality.
I just want to see that. That's one adjustment that I would like for him. When we talk about being selfish and unselfish, he is unselfish. He does. We've seen where his passing has gotten so much better. That right there, though, I don't see that as selfishness when you can dominate that area of the floor, especially if you're just one man is defending you, and we know that you can get that shot off at a decent rate and then hopefully at a higher percentage of making that shot. That's one thing that selfishly I want to see him start making at this stage of his career. He didn't have to do it before.
Some of that
he
too
may have to now.
That's, to me, that's more conditioning, because a lot of times that flows out of you ran the floor, right? And you just, I got a deep catch early in the shot clock. I sealed this guy.
Look at this.
And that's
look at this,
one
Derek.
Drop step, bang.
What would you know about post-ups, Devon?
Oh, wow.
Listen.
Firing shots.
When you're 5'6", you gotta learn every area of the floor, every position when you're a point guard. So
but I'm with you. Like, I don't need to see 2000 era Shaq.
Yeah.
But I want to see more of just like he's a huge human being, right? I love seeing the jumpers, the 3-pointers, all the the diversity of his game. But you got to get me some deep post touches early in the clock. Throw that lob pass in there. You got enough guards that I hope somebody knows how to throw an entry pass. TBD on that, I guess. But that
Welcome,
is
Trendon Watford. Welcome, Trendon Watford. But like Dave P says, who could even block a Joel Embiid hook? Well, I mean, you got Wembanyama, but he's probably going to have him sealed so deep into the paint where he's going to put his shoulder into his chest that it's going to be up to the refs to call an offensive foul, or if Wembanyama is in a good enough position to defend it and make him at least alter the shot.
And the offensive foul thing, I would rather see Joel Embiid pick up an offensive foul because he's trying to post someone and he puts a shoulder through their chest than he's trying to dribble through 3 people in traffic and run somebody over. I know that's like, for some people functionally it doesn't matter. I'd rather see power offensive fouls than finesse offensive fouls. I just would rather him be playing that way.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now get off my lawn, kids.
I'm just picturing Devon going home and like posting up a nephew just to work on his post moves.
Pass me that basket. Pass me that rock. Just post up, man. I got good footwork.
I'm sure you do.
I got scoop shots and all that stuff I had to do to get over.
You got the Jared McCain package.
I had to. I had no choice. You see, like you met my cousin and his, all the 6'4" and all these dudes. I'm like, all right. They taught me this stuff to make it work. Yam says, come on, man. I met you before. I'm 5'7", 5'6". There's no way. I'm 5'6". I don't, it's what it is. I'm 5'6". When I was in school when I played, they were 5'9". I got a kick out of that. I loved it because I was never 5'9", but 5'6". Yes, indeed. So yes, everybody, what does it look like? Just the thoughts of what Joel may look like this year. Going to be very interesting to see, number one, when he's on the floor in training camp, how much he's participating. We don't know about the preseason games, but if we had to bet, maybe not. But it's more about the practices before the season gets underway and what that may look like, who's out there. Those entry passes, not just the lob entry passes, but if he has a man sealed right there at the rim,
bounce pass.
You got to drill that thing, man, and get that basketball there pretty quickly where he can make a decision on that one. As far as, Bree, that's all the graphics and everything that we needed to do today. That's all we had to do today. Well, there was one news and notes thing that I wanted to bring up to you guys, and I thought Bree and I thought this would take up.
I'm a little worried.
Because Kyle is very competitive, Derek.
To an insane degree.
We are, and Bree, we're all rich too. We're all competitive. So I wanted to know, Bree and I wanted to know really about this game that is from, this is a German league that is pretty interesting. It is called, hold on, let me get the right. It is called, in this German league, as I have to scroll back up.
Is Devon going to try to speak in German? Is that what's about to happen?
It's the German Shopping Cart Championships.
Shopping cart champion.
Is this like the push the cart into? Oh, I saw this video.
Take a
recently.
look, everybody. Bree, you don't have to because we don't know what they're saying in German. You don't have to have any sound, but you can play the video. And how well would you do in this league? And Kyle,
I'm pretty good at this, and I know this from experience because, this is a earnest, serious take. I think one of the ways in life you learn the most about a person is what they do with a shopping cart after they're done shopping.
Oh, absolutely.
Anybody who does not return a cart after and leaves it in a parking spot is the scum of the earth. I will never respect you. And it's a sign that the only reason you're doing it is to benefit others, right? And so the people that don't do it are putting up a giant banner or a flag and saying, I don't care about anyone but myself.
Yes.
So I have returned many other people's carts, including some pretty long distance, not long distance like these people.
We've all done this.
Yeah, we've all just shoved it in there, but not from distance like these people
kids,
on the German competition.
You go to the grocery store, the market with your mom, your dad, or whatever, and you're like, all right, they say go put the cart back and you do it. But Derek, Kyle has seen this. Have you seen this? The shopping cart championships.
I had not seen this, but I am also the type.
Look at that. Look at the skill. Look at that. Look at that. Huh?
I'm not competing with these people.
So like my grocery store where I shop at every time, they have in the return area, there's 3 lanes and they're pretty tight. There's not there's a cart and there's just a couple of inches of wiggle room on both sides. So I think I'm pretty good at rolling a shopping cart from a good distance right into a narrow pathway. I think I could pick up on this pretty quickly.
Now, people are right, and someone in the chat, the wheels.
Yeah, because there are some carts.
You get
the bum wheel, especially I go to Costco.
We got to get some Target shopping.
And some of those Costco carts are the wheel is sideways. It's on all the cement. You're like, what the hell is going on?
There's some tape around the bottom. Yeah.
We already piss our coworkers off enough with the Papa Shot. We're going to have to steal some Target shopping carts. We got to get this going.
No theft.
No. We can get the kids looking ones and just make my daughters had the shopping carts. We bought them, all that stuff in the house.
All right, but you see, this is where the Kyle's a psycho competitor comes in.
We got to draw the lines.
I'm not
with some
trying
tape.
to do the short thing, but kid-sized shopping carts, you're at an advantage. You have the lower center of gravity. It's closer to your normal grip height.
You got to lean over the right way, all that good stuff, right? Get some good footing. And just release. It's all about the release. It's the follow through in basketball. It's the release and the follow through. with the shopping cart. The shopping carts are too big if we go to one of these department stores and they won't let us take them. So.
I will be like Adam Sandler in the hockey scene in Happy Gilmore.
I have been.
Is that cart regulation size? That'll be me if we have that.
We're going to overtime, everybody. Shopping cart edition at allphly.com. Thank you on the Fast Channel. We'll be back tomorrow for a Friday, 3 p.m. And we can't wait to talk to you then. Head over to allphly.com. Yes.
No, I'm confident. I got
confident
this.
in that?
Yeah.
But you had never seen that before.
No, I'd never seen that.
Yeah.
It's like German curling.
Yeah. That's what Yams was saying. Come on. That's
people discovering curling and like what was the Olympics where that really broke through? Because there was definitely a Winter Olympics where curling became a thing.
Yeah.
That people paid attention to. Actually, one of our former blog partners at LB, Where is Ben Rivera? I won't say his actual name because I think that's his AKA. He got actually into curling enough that I'm pretty sure he does like curling leagues.
Not just watching, like
no,
he
like participates in curling.
Huh.
okay.
So people got into it. I don't remember when that happened though.
Listen, good stuff. Bree, you got to give your thoughts on the German shopping cart league and the championship.
Would he be like a sweeper? Do you know what he did for curling?
I'll send him a
really
message.
know what you do. I don't know the strategy.
I don't know if
curling.
sweeper is the term.
It's definitely
fine.
not. But you knew what I meant.
You'd be surprised though. It could be sweeper.
What do you think, Bree?
No, if we get the kids' carts, I'm winning. But I don't think our downstairs neighbors would.
They would lose their minds.
We'd have a knock on the door.
This being on the 7th floor
hour.
is definitely a.
Say what said if Devon wins it, he's making a shopping cart highlight mixtape. You're gonna be the Akil Carr of shopping cart.
I need the Shady Rays glasses.
The Crime Stopper.
I need
Devon
the
Givens.
I need the gloves like that woman had there in the video. Give me all the accessories because I'm ready.
The worst, most generic instrumental you've ever heard playing in the background.
The shopping cart league, everybody. Figured that was a funny one to end the show with. I didn't know if Derek and Kyle had seen that. Bree and I got a good laugh out of it. You guys obviously enjoyed it. What do you think of it all? Bree, you also had a poll up there questioning whose 01 jersey will sell the best. Could you give us the results?
Sure. I think I should have put PG instead of Edgecombe, so that was on my bad. But
VJ was right. VJ was right. Yeah.
53 Maxey, 35 Embiid, 12 for Edgecombe, and the other portion got 0%. So obviously, maybe I did put the right three.
You're good. Those are the three.
So
Iverson will probably top all of them, but Tyrese Maxey in the lead. Yes, absolutely. Hey, Aaron says I need a jumpsuit for the sponsor with the sponsors all over it for if I'm going to be competing.
Like you're a NASCAR
league.
driver?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Let's do it.
Devon on his mixtape. If you ain't first, you're last. Ricky Bobby over here.
All right, everybody. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Don't forget, please go donate to Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's the month of giving. BBBS.org is where you go. If you don't do it here on our YouTube page, you can just simply go to BBBS.org to make your donation. And also the Supporters Club, Rich's Quiz. Don't forget to take those as
Supporters
well.
Club, we had Gary B in the middle of the show joined. So thank you to Gary B for joining the Supporters Club.
Thank you, Gary B.
I have it on good authority. There will be some more and new emojis for the chat coming in. Some Sixers themed stuff. So stay tuned on that one.
Basketball in less than 2 weeks, everybody. Preseason. So what? We're ready for it all. We're also ready for it's the roll call. World famous. Let's get to it.
Roll call, baby. So yeah, thank you to Gary B for joining the Supporters Club in the
show. What up, Gary? Thank you.
Thank you to Gary. Thank you to everybody who was hanging out with us here today, like Yams, Martian Lynch, Val.
What up, Martian?
My girl Winona.
Coming at me, Martian was today.
Mom's grandchildren.
5,
What's up
6.
to Mom? Dave P, Jeffrey Stewart, Aubrey Davis.
What up, Jeff?
B Knight.
B Knight.
Chris Kilmeck, Sal, JS.
Hey, Sal.
You done messed up.
You done messed up, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
What up, Aaron?
SB Cole, I Gavini, Will.
What up, Will?
Jack Reacher, Sean Ford,
Love
Eugene Ross.
You need a Jack Reacher 3. Come on now.
Jess, who says she is seated.
Was she seated?
The Cart League.
Oh, okay.
I think.
And for the Cart League.
Thank you to Jess. Thank you to Marcus.
Sponsored by Rob.
Liam Stevens. Tim Keene. Thank you to everybody who
What up,
was in
Liam?
here today, even if you didn't say anything, even if you're just hanging out in the background. Provolone John, Jay the Jungle, all our.
Nona got in there at the buzzer, they said. Saw that Nona was in there at the buzzer.
I thought I saw Nona earlier. I'm
Yeah,
shout out Nona anyway. Because
Shout
that's
out
my
Nona.
girl, Nona. But shout out to everybody who was here today. Thank you for being here. We got one more show this week, tomorrow, Friday at 3 p.m. Hope to see you then and there. Until then, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live.
You like us. You
And
really like
hit
us.
the thumbs up button to say thank you, super producer Bree, making the graphics, holding it down, making the show work.
WD.
She's the best. See you tomorrow.
If I steal a bad card, I'm gonna be so pissed
Stay
off.
safe. Take care of one another. Goodbye.
See ya.
All that work.
We all silly like the mayor.